Injuries and another rookie quarterback ready to go. This is week 5. It's here. So are the bye weeks. This is Start Sit Different Day. Welcome to Club Fantasy FFL. This is Start Sit Different Day. Week 5 is here. So are we. Josh Hudson. I am Gator J. This show runs on your comments. Drop those Start Sit Dilemmas in the chat because Start Sit Different Day doesn't happen with you. Like I said, bye weeks are here. Well, that's what I said, right? Without you. Bye weeks are here. Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh all on bye. And yes, we have another 9:30 a.m. game over in London, Minnesota, and Cleveland. But before we get started, big news coming out of Baltimore. Lamar Jackson has been ruled out for week 5, and there is a likelihood that he could miss week 6 as well. That means Cooper Rush will get his first start in Baltimore. I believe he's been in this sort of position before, but not with this many injuries on the defensive side of the ball for Baltimore. Josh, what do we expect out of Baltimore?
Probably another loss of some point because, the whole idea was that, a good team sitting at 1-3, they'll figure out a way to get out of this hole. Well, when you don't have your superstar quarterback, that tends to be a little bit more difficult. I'm trying to go back and actually look at his record when filling in Dallas, but he was 9-5 as a starter in Dallas. So, he knows how to win games, which is a good thing. He has a basically a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio in his career. He's an okay fill-in starter. He's probably one of the better backups in the NFL. But really, the biggest question is, how much do they have to change this offense with Cooper Rush as the starter? Because Cooper Rush is not the runner that Lamar Jackson is. And that tends to be the biggest issue when you're bringing in backup quarterbacks for starters. When there's a completely different skill set, a lot of things then have to change. But let's be honest, the one thing that Cooper Rush needs to do, probably more than what Lamar Jackson has done over these first 4 games, is turn to the right or turn to the left and put the ball in Derrick Henry's breadbasket. They have not been running Derrick Henry near enough. And when you have the Swiss cheese defense that the Baltimore Ravens have right now, they are not good. And I think there's 5 starters on defense that are out this week. Like, it's bad. So they need to be able to control the clock. And you do that by getting Derrick Henry involved. You do that with the short passing game, eat up the clock, and keep your defense off the field and as fresh as possible. Cooper Rush should be able to manage the clock. And that is going to be his biggest test going forward. What that means for fantasy success? More Derrick Henry, please. But I'm definitely going to be downgrading Zay Flowers with Cooper Rush just because, again, if the Ravens are smart, and quite frankly, we have not seen smart offensive play calling from Todd Monken so far through 4 games. But if they are smart, it's going to be a lot of short passes, handing the football off. That's going to favor more of the tight ends and Derrick Henry, in my opinion. So I think Zay Flowers kind of takes a step back more into that top 24 wide receiver range versus the top 12 wide receiver range, what he has started the season as.
So going off of what you just said there with Derrick Henry, game 1 against Buffalo. Now that went to overtime. 18 touches in that game there. Or I'm sorry, 19 touches in that game there with the 1 reception. Over under 20 touches. What your gut is with Todd Monken, not what you think it should be, because what you think it should definitely be over that number.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going against Houston this week, Derrick Henry has traditionally destroyed Houston in his career. So this should be a smash over 20 touches. It should be. Like, just look at Derrick Henry's history and say, oh yeah, he does pretty well against this team. He knows exactly what he needs to do. Get the man the football.
100%.
Not rocket science.
Not rocket science, Todd Monken. Give the boy, give the king the rock. Don't forget, remember to like and subscribe on this video here on YouTube. If you're over on Apple, Spotify, make sure you hit that follow button over there for us. If you want to get your start sit question or any other question you have to the top of the line, get that super chat ready to go. We are horse for money, as they say. Josh, one more time, give us the read for Trophy Smack.
Absolutely. The fantasy football season is here, and Trophy Smack is where you want to get all of those rewards. They have trophies, rings, championship belts, all designed to tell your league mates who the real champion is. So hit the link in the description of this podcast and check out some of the swag that you can get. All of it available, trophysmack.com/club fantasy.
Be sure to jump over into our Discord. It has been popping. We started this Monday night and Thursday night. We did a watch party, Josh. Josh got to finally join us over there for that this past Thursday. It was an absolute blast. I dropped the link into the chat. You guys are more than welcome to join us over there. As Ryan likes to say, it is free. Injuries.
It's free. It's for me, right?
It's free. It's for me. That's right. Injuries going into week 5 here. And woof, yet again, a laundry list of players. I want to give a big thanks to Ryan Weiss for helping us out, getting these injuries in for us. The questionables for week 5, Miles Sanders, knee, Brock Bowers, knee, Taysom Hill, knee, Juwan Johnson, ankle, Calvin Ridley, knee, Will Dissly, knee, Bashan Tootin, Tajay Spears possibly to come back with his ankle. De'Ami Brown, doubtful is Tyrone Tracy. Luckily, that's the only doubtful that we could find right now. Out. Oof, this is the hurtful one. J.J. McCarthy out. CeeDee Lamb, of course. Kayvon Turpin. Braylon Allen going to IR. Trey Benson headed to IR. Chuba Hubbard out. Jatavion Sanders out. Lamar Jackson out. Alec Pierce out. Mike Evans. Bucky Irving, Noah Brown, and finally, Terry McLaurin. It's just a fucking laundry list right there. Good night. Josh, let's get to some good news, and let's start sit here. Marvin jumps in and says, no tight end premium, flex, Njoku, Ridley, or Isaiah Bond. This is a half-point PPR.
Definitely not Bond. Not ready to go that far yet, especially with a rookie at quarterback against a really good defense. Brian Flores is going to absolutely feast on Dylan Gabriel in London this week. I feel like it has to be Ridley. I know it's been really tough sledding for Ridley lately. I just don't love flexing tight ends. I know you're 1-3, and I get it, Marvin. These are not great options that are really going to help you get out of the hole. I'm trying to remember who Tennessee plays this week.
Arizona.
Okay. See, that's a matchup that Tennessee can actually win, right? We've talked about this throughout the start of this season. Yes, the Tennessee offense has been dreadful. Cam Ward has not been able to get going, but they've faced a lot of really good defenses over the first 4 weeks. Arizona's an okay defense. They have some pieces that can make life hard for the rookie, but this is a matchup where Calvin Ridley can win, in my opinion. David Njoku's tied for 12th among tight ends in targets at 21, but he hasn't really done a ton with them. So when you're talking about like a very low floor, that's kind of what Njoku is right now. And I don't think that with a rookie against a good defense, he's going to have any level of real upside. Calvin Ridley, because he's Calvin Ridley and because he's going to get some of those downfield targets. And again, he is still seeing targets in this offense. That to me is the kind of flex play that can take you over the top in a weekly matchup. So I would side with Ridley here.
Yeah, again, I don't like flexing Njoku here and not playing Bond, so Ridley is the obvious choice going up against Arizona there. Chris G says PPR need flex. A.J. Brown versus Denver. Travis Etienne versus Kansas City on Monday night. Tech McMillan versus Miami. Jordan Mason versus Cleveland.
I'm going to go with the best matchup here, and that's Tetero and McMillan against Miami. Miami secondary is just awful. They do have a pretty solid pass rush, which will definitely disrupt things for Bryce Young. But when Bryce Young is throwing the football, he is looking at T-Mac's way. And with it being a PPR format, that's really what I want to go with. KC has a really good run defense, so I'm not looking to really rush to get Travis Etienne in my lineup, especially when I have better options. And right now, for me, that is Teteroa McMillan this week. Mason against Cleveland. Whew. There's 4 offensive linemen out for Minnesota. 4. And Cleveland has one of the best defensive lines in all of football. They are smothering running games. And AJ Brown, look, he's going to see a lot of Patrick Surtain. If I can avoid starting AJ Brown this week, I will. And you have the ability to do that, Chris. Go with McMillan this week.
Yep, 100% agree. Jordan Masons is probably going to wish that Minnesota had a bye this week and not have to play Cleveland in that vaunted defensive line. Caesar says Chase Brown or Rashad White.
Man, why are you guys trying to get me to say Rashad White as a start this week? Ugh.
That's what you should say right here.
Ugh. God, I kind of feel like I have to, which really sucks. But yeah, I guess it's Rashad White. Not that I love the matchup. The Bucs going at Seattle. But I mean, I don't know how you can feel any level of confidence starting any Bengals player this week, especially against the Lions. Like they too have a really good defense. So yeah, I mean, give me White. I don't love either of them. I'm going to be honest with you, dude.
Yeah, I am right there with you with that one. Josh J, hope you're having a great weekend. Who to start at flex? AJ Brown, Jordan Mason, Chase. Wolf. I guess you
find a better option on waivers, Steven. Good Lord. This sucks.
Out of these 3, though, Josh, who are you going with? AJ Brown, Jordan Mason, Chase Brown.
Honestly, I mean, of these 3, it's painful to say, but I would actually start AJ Brown. For as good as Patrick Surtain is, AJ Brown eats up man coverage. And that's obviously what Surtain is going to provide against AJ Brown. He's still seeing a ton of targets. Maybe they figure out the issues with the offensive line. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Here's my thing with Mason. They're not using him in the passing game, right? And so honestly, if I have the ability to go pick up Xavier Scott, I would start him over all 3 of these guys.
Ooh, okay.
Because I think that's going to be where Minnesota utilizes the running back position, at least to a useful degree. Again, Cleveland has a strong run defense. They have 4 offensive linemen out this week. I just don't see a pathway for Mason to really make a big dent and provide a ton of fantasy points. We've seen the issues with Chase Brown. We've seen the issues with AJ Brown. But of these 3, I would be okay with AJ Brown just because of the target volume, and it is PPR. Because Mason, I think, you hope he falls into the end zone, but I think he's going to have like 2.5 to 3.5 yards per carry. That's kind of how I would see it. So, yeah, if I have the ability, if Xavier Scott is out there on waivers, that's honestly who I would go and grab and start out of this group this week.
Yeah, it's AJ Brown for me as well. Lost Tyreek and need a wide receiver. Just traded Wandale and Bill for Olave and Devontae Smith in a PPR. Wide receivers are DK, Devontae, Olave, McLaurin, Hunter, Cup. Running backs are CMC, Barkley, Warren, Gainwell, White, and Spears.
I like that trade for you, man.
Yeah,
that's a solid trade. I think Olave is really underrated. He's seeing a ton of target volume. We have no idea what we're getting with JCM. And honestly, Wandale's role could be a little different now that Neighbors is out. You know, we kind of talked about this in the Discord about, you know, is Wandale now going to become that one, or is Slayton going to just be a plug and play in terms of taking over for Neighbors? So I think getting, you know, the big targets with Olave and you know, Smith over JCM all day, every day. So yeah, I like that deal.
All right, let's go over here to Jeff Rogers, Woody Marks, Skattebo, full PPR.
Well, Jeff, if you paid attention to the thumbnail, I really like me some Cam Skattebo this week. Tyrone Tracy's probably out again. That Saints defense is yielding the 7th most to running backs through 4 weeks. I mean, he saw 25 carries last week, 16 touches in week 3. The Giants are leaning on Skattebo. This is the rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart. This is his first road start. Easiest way to make life great for a rookie quarterback on the road. Hand the football off. The Saints don't do well against running backs. Sign me up for Skattebo.
Like it. I like it. I like Woody Marks as well this week, but I think it is a Skattebo week for him. Marcus says, hey, guys, start one running back, two flexes, Kamara, DeMarcado, Pittman, Wandale, Tet, Myers, and last question, or another part of it is, should I drop Tootin for Miller?
So we're starting one running back. That is Kamara. If you pay attention to fantasy points allowed and overall run defenses, as good as the front four is for the Giants, they cannot stop the run to save their lives. Kamara was Ryan's 2-touchdown special this week, if you watched NPI on Wednesday, which probably means he's jinxed, but that doesn't mean he can't get 1 touchdown. So I'm going to go with Kamara as the starting running back this week. In terms of the flex, definitely Pittman. Pittman should not be in start-sit questions at all. He definitely needs to be starting every week. And I'm going to go Tetero and McMillan next to Pittman as my second flex option. In terms of dropping Tootin for Miller, I'm okay with this only because you do have Kamara. Now, I do think that Kamara and Miller will operate very independently of each other. So I don't think it's, a start one, start the other, but, Kamara going out, like you can't start Miller if you have Kamara kind of thing. Like, they're a 1A, 1B kind of situations because they have different skill sets. But at the same token, Miller does offer insurance in case something does happen to Kamara. We saw Miller kind of get a little bit more involved last week, which is a good sign. Tootin's been banged up. He's been hurt. He hasn't been as effective as he was for the first couple of games. So, I don't hate that move.
Yep, I am with you all the way there. Start 2 in a dynasty league: Andrews, Hawkinson, Waller, Mason Taylor, Theo Johnson, or Brendan Strange for Jamie here. And he says, can you tell that I like to smash tight ends in fantasy?
Oh, goodness. All right. Starting 2.
These are the kind of people that come and hang out with us on a Saturday morning, Josh.
I love it, man. I love it. Absolutely love it. Let me see. I think Strange was Ryan's stream of the week at tight end this week, if I'm not. No, it was actually Darren Waller. That Strange was last week. Okay. But no, I definitely like Waller this week. Honestly, I would probably go Andrews and Waller out of this group. I think losing Tyreek Hill, it's only going to make Darren Waller more involved in that offense. Maybe he's just the short yardage touchdown guy. He did score 2 last week, but touchdowns are definitely valuable, right? Like don't sleep on that. I like the upside potential with Mason Taylor and Theo Johnson. That's why you stash those guys in Dynasty. Hawkinson, I feel like with all of the issues along the offensive line, probably going to be staying in and blocking more than we want him to. And I think that's only going to favor Jordan Addison in the passing game this week. So, give me Waller and Andrews.
I like it. I like it a lot. I need help here. 0-4. Trade away Lamb, BTJ, Rashad White for Pickens, Rice, and Charbonnet.
I was looking at this trade earlier. Let's be honest here. How is this trade really helping you? Because if you stop and think about it, trading Lamb for Rice, you're not getting anything out of that, right? Because both guys are out. So that's a wash, in my opinion. And at that point, I want the better player, which is Lamb. BTJ has been struggling. Yes, 100% agree with that. If you feel like Pickens is going to have a strong season simply because he's filling in for Lamb right now, but also will benefit from Lamb coming back, then I'm okay making this trade. But I am not of that mindset. I think Pickens is going to get absolutely shut down this week. Sauce Gardner performs well against bigger wide receivers, and especially bigger wide receivers that cannot separate. That is Pickens to a T. So there's going to be some volume there, but this is a matchup that Sauce Gardner can absolutely and will absolutely win. I think this is a big Jalen Tolbert week and a big Jake Ferguson week if you're looking at options in the Dallas passing game. Sharbs over White, like that's flavor of the week. I would prefer Charbonnet to Rachaad White, which is all right, fine. So again, if that's how you're looking at this trade, how I just broke it down, then take the Charbonnet pick inside. But for me, you win this trade based on Lamb over Rice. That's how I'm looking at it. Because BTJ is eventually going to figure it out. At least I hope he does. But I don't think his ceiling is any lower than Pickens. So I know it's 0-4, and sometimes you just need to consider making these types of deals that swing the tides and mix things up. But this isn't the kind of deal that I would be looking to make to do that.
Yeah, I'm not doing this when you look at it. When Lamb comes back in 3 weeks, Pickens
not even. He might be back next week.
Correct. And Rice is still 2 weeks out anyway before he's eligible back on the field next week, right? So that's the earliest. You're going to get 1 extra week possibly out of Rice, and you're going to – no, I'm not doing this. Not for me. Keenan Allen, Olave, BTJ, start 2 for Alec.
You have the options that you can leave BTJ on the bench until he figures it out. It's Keenan Allen or Olave for me.
Correct. Browning or Gabriel in Superflex for Caesar?
It's not Gabriel. I'm not starting a rookie against a Brian Flores defense. Not at all.
Do I trade Golden and Tet for Slayton and Sutton for Jaquarius?
I don't hate this trade. Tetero, McMillan, and Sutton are pretty similar. Sutton obviously is in the better offense, likely to be a little bit more consistent. And right now it's Slayton over Golden. Now, could that change by end of season? Sure. But you could always swing another deal. So yeah, I like this deal. You're getting 2 startable assets for basically 1 because you're not starting Matthew Golden right now. So give me the Slayton Sutton side.
Yep. Rachaad White, DeMarcado, full PPR.
Gross. Give me the matchup. It's DeMarcado this week.
I was wondering if you were going to be able to say Rachaad White in the same hour. Twice. I have Waddle and Ladd Evans on IR. Would you drop Slayton and pick up Taysom as tight end 2 for the bye week?
Taysom Hill is a trap. That's all I'm going to say. Taysom Hill is an absolute trap, plain and simple. He's the guy that when you start, he gets you 3 fantasy points and you're wondering why the fuck you started him. When you leave him on your bench, that's when he blows up and has 40 fucking fantasy points. I don't even like rostering Taysom Hill for that exact reason. But you're talking about a guy that is basically, he would be playing second fiddle anyway to Juwan Johnson because Juwan Johnson is absolutely eating in terms of targets right now. I am staying far away from Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
And especially when you have a guy like Slayton who's going to be a plug and play in terms of neighbors. I would not do this at all.
Nope. With you. Jay said you trade Dak and Woody Marks or Dak and Pickens for Josh Allen. 0.5 PPR. His 1 quarterback. 3. 1-3. My quarterbacks: Dak, Fields, running backs are CMC, Genty, Wood, Woody Marks. Wide receivers are Pickens, Tet, and BTJ. Would you do either one of these trades?
Honestly, I wouldn't. Like, I get the allure with Josh Allen because, he's Josh Allen. He's, QB1 in fantasy. Justin Fields, when he plays, is a top 10 quarter, or really a top 5 quarterback. And he's going to absolutely destroy Dallas this week. And Dak is going to throw enough that he is an upside QB2 with, top 3 potential on a given week. This kind of trade really doesn't make you better. Like, I understand you're 1-3, but all you're doing is you're trading from needed depth, right? Like Pickens right now is, truthfully, he's probably your wide receiver 1, all given, the situations. And Woody Marks popped. Like, this is definitely like a take advantage of the hype around Woody Marks, but you kind of need the depth behind CMC and Genty, if I'm being honest. So this isn't the kind of move that I would make.
No, I'm with you there. Dak Prescott is averaging like 40 pass attempts and 30 plus completions per game right now, over right at 270, 280 yards per game. And I'm not, even though he's QB 11 for fantasy purposes, I'll stick with Dak Prescott because I know he's just going to sling the ball over the yard. The Josh Allen side of it, you just spread the ball out. He's going to he's going to get his touchdowns with running, but I'm still all in on Dak Prescott the rest of the year. What's up, fellas? Dustin says pick 2 flex PPR: Dobbins, Pittman, Carter, DeMarcado, or Woody.
As I've said before, you are always starting Pittman. There's no need to have him in start sit questions. Dobbins is fine. Philly's okay against running backs. They're not great, and Denver's going to need to run the football. So that's where I would lean. I would lean Pittman and Dobbins. I would put Woody as my 3rd, and then DeMarcado as my 4th.
I think the only thing I would change there is I put Woody as the Woody and Pittman as the starts here. Just because
that's fair. I will say there's a small part of me that thinks Woody Marks is a trap this week just because he blew up last week. Like it has that. It has Trey Tucker vibes, in your ear where, he's going to come in and have like 4 fantasy points and you're going to be like, what the fuck? But look, it is a really good matchup, but it's a really good matchup too when you stop and think about it for Nick Chubb. So
it is,
and he is still the starter there.
Oh, yeah, maybe so. Lex says Waller, Ertz, or Fannin this week, PPR.
I like Ertz. No real reason to keep sitting him, but I do think that Waller probably presents more upside in a better matchup. You just wonder how much more involved he's going to be. Again, I like the upside there with Waller because losing Tyreek Hill, they need to get more creative. They need more weapons. I just think about what if Jalen Waddle fails as the wide receiver 1, because he really has not looked great in that 2 role. But I think there's opportunity for him to kind of take that step up. Carolina's done really well against opposing wide receivers in terms of fantasy points allowed. And I think that opens things up for Waller. So if you need a safe play, I think Ertz is that play. But if you're looking to maximize upside, maybe you're going against somebody that had Kendrick Bourne or CMC, then I'm going to plug in Waller here over Ertz.
Josh, you just talked me into playing Waller then because I was all in on the Ertz, but I do see the upside there. Fannin is just getting, between him and Njoku, they just eat at each other. Dustin says Cards or Colts defense better play this week.
Kind of hard to sit the Colts defense, if I'm being honest. They've looked pretty good. Who do they have this week?
The Colts are playing Vegas they're playing in Indianapolis, but they're bringing in Vegas.
Yeah, Geno Smith's a turnover machine. Usually my go-to response is pick a defense that's playing a rookie quarterback, and by that logic, it's the Cardinals. But honestly, I think the Colts are a better defense. So, and again, Geno had 3 interceptions last week? I think he leads the NFL in interceptions. They create turnovers, and Geno gives them away. So, I think I'm going to lean the Colts here.
305. Sup, guys? PPR, Jordan Mason or Ladd McConkey?
I don't know how you can trust Ladd McConkey right now.
I don't know how you can trust either one of these this week.
Mason has just a bad matchup, but I do think his floor is at least safer than Ladd's. On NPI, Joe talked about he's not worried about Ladd McConkey. The target volume is still there. He's just playing third fiddle right now, and that's really the biggest issue. Luckily, they're still throwing enough. Commanders don't really present a daunting task on defense. It's PPR. Give me Ladd.
Yeah, somebody that's averaging like 6.5, 7 targets a game. Mr. Scamper's in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Trish says, hey, standard scoring, A.J. Brown, Marv, Mason, sit one.
It's standard, so I'm going to sit A.J. Brown this week.
Interesting. Lex says, Devontae or Jacoby Myers in the PPR.
think I got to go Myers. Brock Bowers still banged up. I know they're saying he'll probably play. It just tells me he's going to be more of a decoy than anything. It is just really, really difficult to trust the Eagles passing game right now.
No, it's super, super, super hard to trust that.
So hard. And again, coming from an Eagles fan.
Right. 305 Dynasty traded Metcalf and Junkins for Neighbors. What do you think about this?
Bro, if that's all you had to give up,
to get Neighbors,
like, do it. I offered a guy 3 first-round picks for Neighbors, and they said no. So if that's all you had to give up, kudos.
Yeah, I like it. I do like it. Saints run defense is good. Hoof.
Stats tell you otherwise, Hoof.
Hoof. Stop it. Lex, Rashad White, Jordan Mason, Junkins sit 1 PPR. This chat is absolutely going to try to make you say Rashad White start like 3 times today. I think that's the goal of the day. Josh has got to say Rashad White 3 times today. Click your heels, Rashad White. Click your heels.
No, I'm going to sit Rashad White here. I know it's PPR. Actually, no, I can't. It's got to be Mason. Yeah, it's got to be Mason.
That's 2, chat. We get him one more time. We got to get him one more.
Beetlejuice, man. Jesus. Where are the Sean Tucker questions? He's the guy that I want to start. Jesus.
Thus, this is a half point PPR. Play 2 wide receiver: Sutton, Godwin, Slayton, or Brian Thomas Jr.
Godwin and Slayton.
Yeah, I think Slayton is a smash.
Yeah, Sutton is a massive fade for me this week against Quinyon Mitchell and BTJs. Yeah, who've mentioned it in the chat. Shane Waldron is the problem in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's. I saw a thing. Was it yesterday where he's been at 4 different offenses and all 4 of them look like shit in a row. 4 straight years. Kamara could have a full circle moment when he gets replaced by Miller, like he did Adrian Peterson.
I could very well be. I don't know that it's going to be this week, Hoove. But again, like Kamara's always operated best when there's a 1A, 1B situation. He's used to being the 1B, but that's kind of Miller's role right now. I think really the Saints just want to see Miller finally, look like the running back that they drafted a few years ago coming out of TCU. He started to look that part last week. This is a good opportunity for Miller to continue to look good. I mean, if Miller keeps looking good, there's a good chance that if the Saints keep losing, maybe they look to move Kamara at the trade deadline. So you may be right.
All right, Josh, I'm going to pause on the comment or the questions right now. Let's get over to a couple favorite plays that we like that we will talk about here for a few minutes. And then please, chat, do not stop. Keep putting those questions in there. But, Josh, let's talk about your favorite play of the day. You've brought him up once already. He is on the thumbnail, Mr. Cam Skattebo.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Tyrone Tracy's likely out again. So I'm expecting a very heavy dose of Skattebo this week. Saints defense is yielding the 7th most fantasy points to running backs through 4 weeks. That accounts to about 24.8 fantasy points per game. This is Jackson Dart's first start on the road. They leaned pretty heavily on Skattebo last week in Jackson Dart's first start, which was at home. They played 75% of the snaps, had 25 carries, and that was against a good run defense. So now what happens when you give a guy 20-plus touches against a not great run defense? Good things tend to happen. So I'm all about Skattebo this week, and I think he has a 20-point overall upside this week, especially with how they used him in the passing game. Week 3, he had 8 targets, 6 catches for 60 yards. Only had 2 catches last week. But again, over 2 games, that's 8 catches. Those are things that you like to see from a, we'll call him a feature back. That's what Skattebo is right now. And yeah, love this matchup for him against New Orleans.
Yeah, there is one I want to bring up real quick that I really like this week, and that is Garrett Wilson versus Dallas. Dallas allowing 40-plus fantasy points to wide receivers on the season. Week 3, Chicago scored 4 passing touchdowns. Week 4, of course, Romeo Doubs 3. The one that gets me is Garrett Wilson hasn't had a 2-touchdown game since October of 2024. Like you brought up Fields earlier, I think this is a smash play with that horrible Dallas defense. Give me one more that you got on your list.
I'm looking at Marvin Mims against Philly. I said on Wednesday, Cortland Sutton's one of my biggest fades this week. Quinyon Mitchell absolutely shuts down wide receiver ones. There's going to be plenty of opportunity for the second corner in this offense. Cooper DeJean typically runs out of the slot. That is where Troy Franklin is running over 63% of the time. Marvin Mims is less than 20% in the slot. He's mainly an outside wide receiver. So that means if Adoree Jackson plays, he gets Adoree Jackson. If not, he gets Kaylee Ringo. Kaylee Ringo lost this competition to Adoree Jackson, and Adoree Jackson has been ass to start this season. He was hurt last week. There's a chance that he plays this week. Regardless, Kaylee Ringo was only okay in week 4 against the Bucs. Marvin Mims had his kind of big breakout here in 2025 last week. I think this is an area where it could continue in a matchup where they need to figure out ways to move the ball against Philly. This is a really talented team. Yes, they've struggled, but they're 4-0. So that should tell you how good Philly is, even if they are struggling. They have a ton of talent. So, but I do like Marvin Mims. They move him around a lot. They on jet sweeps, motions, all these different types of things that can work him out into space. So I like him as a flex play this week and top 36 potential at wide receiver.
I want to throw one more at you because I think this is very important. I feel like we're picking on the Saints here, but I think it's very easy to pick on the Saints here. With you going Skattebo, I'm going to go with the Giants wide receivers. First of all, Wandale, 21% of the passes versus Saints are thrown to receivers in the slot. Wandale lines up in the slot 69% of the time. Slayton, on the other hand, Saints have allowed 8.6 air yards per attempt, 4th most in the NFL. This should play right into Slayton's hands, who averages 12.7 air yards per target. Pretty nasty stat there. I didn't even add this in, but I did do the 3 things that we like to start with. Wilson, two touchdowns, Skattebo with your the way you like Skattebo, and then I went Mims as well. I threw that into a parlay. $10 makes $390. Just
Okay.
Josh.
Okay.
Let's talk about the bad side real quickly. Let's talk about your least favorite matchup of the week.
Yeah, my least favorite is Keon Coleman. This is my fantasy matchup of the week. It's New England versus Buffalo. It's the highest over-under on the slate. When I checked on Wednesday, it was 49.5. I don't know if the line has moved at all since, but both these teams have 40-point outings this season. New England scored 42 last week. Buffalo is averaging over 30 points scored per game. This is going to be a matchup where you want every single fantasy relevant player starting. But New England has this guy playing at corner named Christian Gonzalez, and he's really fucking good. And he tends to travel with outside receivers. Khalil Shakir is your volume play. He's the guy that mostly runs out of the slot. Gonzalez is not going to follow him. So he's going to be glued against some of the larger XZ receivers, i.e. your Keon Colemans, your Josh Palmers. Keon Coleman is the absolute definition of boom or bust. It's either 3 for 20 or 8 for 100 and a touchdown. That's what you're getting out of him. So when he's going to go up against a good corner or a good corner like Christian Gonzalez, I would expect one of those 3 for 20 kind of games. Gonzo played his first game last week against Carolina. He was lined up against Tedero McMillan on 11 routes. Saw 3 targets, only gave up 2 catches for 31 yards. There's your 5 points right there. That's pretty much what you can expect from Keon Coleman. So if you're looking at this matchup saying, I want to get as many pieces of this Buffalo offense into my lineup, that's your issue playing Coleman in the flex.
Yeah, it's rough. After week 1, it's been a huge disappointment from Keon Coleman. Real quick, I want to remind everybody, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff over here on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Make sure you're subscribing to us over there. Again, if you want to get your chat or your question in quickly right to the top of the line, use that super chat button. Josh, you want to go over Trophy Smack one more time, or do you want to go right back into these questions?
One more time. The fantasy football season is here, and Trophy Smack is where you want to get all your rewards. They have trophies, rings, championship belts, all of it designed to tell your league mates who the real champion is. Hit the link in the description of this podcast to check out some of the swag that you can get. All of it's available at trophysmack.com/club fantasy.
All right, Josh, I just lost my spot here, but that's all right. I'll find it again. Where the heck did we go? Why did my spot just move on me, Josh? Let's go right here. Joseph says, which tight end to start? Strange, Njoku, Mason Taylor.
Strange is the floor. Taylor's the upside this week.
Agreed. Half point PPR for Mr. Scampers here. Genty at Indy. Debo at the Chargers.
Oh, I'm not sitting Genty. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm trying to start both of them if I'm being honest, Campers. But yeah, I can't sit Genty.
No, I can't sit Genty either. Tristan says, hey, guys, need two to start. Harrison, AJB, Mason, no PPR. Who we starting?
Ooh, I'm assuming that's Jordan Mason. Didn't we already answer a similar question?
I think we did. It was very similar to this. And I think
in standard, I'm sitting AJ Brown.
You're sitting AJ Brown, right?
Yeah.
Joseph says, I don't think Gator was there last time I asked. So Chase Brown, Michael Carter. Oof.
I'm not starting Michael Carter.
I am.
I'm not.
Look, week 17 and 18 last year when Connor was down, Carter was a big factor in that game. Dre says Ladd or AJ Brown. We just had very similar to this as well. You starting Ladd over AJ Brown with the targets that he gets?
Begrudgingly.
I think I
begrudgingly starting Ladd.
For Marcus, pick up RJ Harvey or Miller, drop Tootin.
I'm fine dropping Tootin. I think Miller is the now play. Harvey is the long-term play. Harvey had his kind of breakout this past week in a blowout. So I think that was a good warm-up for him, for the Broncos to truly see what they have in his skill set and how he can be viable to help them. I still think it's Dobbins' backfield. He has over 180 rushing yards in the last 2 weeks. So I don't think that, it's Harvey truly coming in and taking over that job the way that a lot of people want him to. But as I mentioned, this is a dream matchup for Saints running back. So if we're talking you need a starter this week, it's Miller for me. But rest of season, I think I would prefer Harvey over Miller.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. Pick one, Etienne, White, or Dobbins. Dre is trying to get him to do it again.
No, this is Dobbins.
Lamb over rice sounds delicious. Thanks, Caesar. Food-wise, yes. George says, is Shakir and Wandale enough to get Keenan or Tet?
Maybe. I mean, really, you won't know until you make the offer. I would start with Keenan, if I'm being honest, even though I know a phantom hamstring injury is coming and going to claim Keenan for about 6 games. But I like that offense better. With T-Mac, you're looking at a lot of ups and downs, bad offense, all that good stuff. But I would make that offer for Keenan.
Oscar wants to know 12-man PPR. Your thoughts, please. My running backs are Junkins and Hampton, Woody Marks, Bucky, but I lost Neighbors. My wide receivers are Slayton, DJ Moore, Franklin, Godwin. The Rice owner needs running backs. Would you stay with this wide receiver or trade Woody Marks? I guess are we trading Woody Marks for Rashid Rice?
God, if that's all I have to give up to get Rice, fuck yeah, I'm doing that.
I agree 100%. I don't think that's even
yeah, I will look to find depth at running back on waivers or through another trade, but yeah, if all you have to do is trade Woody Marks to get Rashid Rice, hell yeah, I'm doing that.
James wants to know Prescott, Darnold, Dart, or Nix this week? Hockenson or Waller at tight end? I think we got Waller at tight end here, but who are you starting when it comes to the quarterbacks here? Prescott.
Have y'all seen the Jets play defense? I'm just putting that out there right now. There's no way in hell I am sitting Dak Prescott against a bad defense. Straight up.
Joseph says, trade Sutton and Tet for Jamar.
Oh, we didn't even answer the tight end question. Shit.
Oh, I kind of did. I kind of said it was Waller for me.
Yeah, it's Waller.
Yeah. Right. Trade Sutton and Tet for Jamar Chase and Ferguson. This has to be. I think this is Chase Ferguson all day.
I mean, But here's the thing. If I don't need a tight end, like if I'm streaming a tight end, then yeah, I'm going to go get Ferguson, right? Like, I mean, Ferguson right now is leading all tight ends in targets and I believe receptions as well. He is close to, if not the tight end one overall. So even if you have a good tight end, fuck it, like trade for him. But you need to then be able to trade your other tight end to get a wide receiver because truly at the end of the day, how do you feel comfortable with Jamar Chase? You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like if I'm sitting there with, let me see some tight end options here. If I have McBride or
okay, that's fair.
Even Bowers or Kraft, I don't need Ferguson, right? But if I have Hawkinson, Andrews, Kelsey, yeah, you need Ferguson. But then you have to ask yourself, can I move one of those tight ends to even get like a wide receiver 4 just to get some depth? And I'm not sure the answer is yes to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the big issue here. So in a vacuum, yeah, I want the Chase Ferguson side. But your team needs do take precedent here.
I agree. Unfortunately, I have to agree with you on that one. I don't want to because I love Ferguson that much. Tron says, would you trade Barkley and McLaurin for James Cook and Rashid Rice?
Yeah, I want James Cook right now over Barkley. And, you know, it's a wash between McLaurin and Rice right now. So,
yep. Alex, Higgins or Judy?
God. I've been saying for weeks, Judy's droppable. So, by transitive property, I'm going to start Higgins.
T-Man, would you start Slayton or Ladd this week? I have Wandell as my wide receiver 1. I'm sorry, Waddle as wide receiver 1.
I'm okay playing Slayton this week over Ladd.
100%. Alex says JD5 or Dart.
I'm not sitting Daniels. I love the matchup for Dart. Don't get me wrong. He's very much in the streaming quarterback conversation this week, but you're not sitting Daniels.
Agreed. Andrew says, should I start JMO or Godwin?
I'm still going to go Godwin. I'm very inclined to side with the sneaky girls as they love Jameson Williams this week. And it is a pretty decent matchup, in all honesty. They're just not targeting him enough for me to really feel comfortable starting him in a given week. First game back, Godwin saw 10 targets. Like, give me the target volume with Godwin.
100%. JMO right now, yes, he's not receiving the targets, and he is the epitome of touchdown dependent.
Yeah, I mean, he's averaging 20 yards per catch, which is amazing, but he only has a 50% catch rate.
Yeah, they're only throwing him the ball 8 times in a game, and he's only catching 2 of those. So move on from that thought that we were going to start JMO all year long. Wide receiver 2 PPR, Keenan Allen, Jacoby Myers.
It's Keenan Allen. It's not close.
You're not even thinking about Myers this week?
No, I mean, I'm thinking about it, just not if Keenan Allen is one of my options.
Okay, fair. PPR pick 2, Jameson Williams, BTJ, Woody Marks, Stephon Diggs.
It's Woody Marks and Diggs for me.
After was it last week or 2 weeks ago, we were bashing Diggs. He shows up, and now we're plugging him right on in.
Yep.
Well, when you got those choices of Jameson, BTJ, I mean, it's pretty damn easy.
Well, and that's really what it boils down to, right? Like BTJ, we just don't trust yet. You know, right. Honestly, like T-Law is the QB 31 in fantasy right now. Like that offense really hasn't looked good. They're being carried by their defense.
100%.
And, you know, we just talked about Jameson Williams. It's very much boom or bust. Like he's not being very consistent. Diggs finally, you know, knocked off some of the rust with the knee injury, starting to play more snaps. Clearly, Drake May is like, all right, my wide receiver 1 is here. Cool. So, yeah.
Finally got him back. Country says, I need two running backs, PPR, Mason, Dobbins, Harvey, or Henderson.
I feel like logic says Dobbins and Mason, but I think I'm going to go Dobbins and Henderson this week.
Let's see, it's
PPR. That's why I'm okay fading Mason in that idea. Henderson is starting to see RB2 snaps after Gibson's fumble problems. He's not unseating Ramondre, but he's going to see some run. I fully expect this to be a very high scoring game Sunday night in Buffalo. I just don't love starting both the Broncos running backs. So give me Dobbins and Henderson.
Yep, and I'm there with you. Just looked at the stats, and Henderson does receive targets as well, and he catches everything that's thrown in his direction. Country comes back and he says, trade CMC and BK.
God, you still can't pronounce it right. Jesus Christ. At this point, it's a bid, isn't it?
It is. It is. For Cooks and JSN.
Best player in the deal is CMC.
Abuka.
And quite honestly, I would rather have Abuka over JSN as much as JSN is doing well. So
just for you.
Yeah, it's CMC.
Driggs, any Brock Bowers update? Stuck with Kyle Pitts on a bye, so picked up. Do I say Darren Waller in case Bowers isn't a go?
Honestly, I would start Waller this week over Bowers, truthfully.
God, that's so hard to say.
I know that's like very difficult to say, but right now, the same way that Kyle Pitts was struggling, I think it was his second or third season, because he just wasn't healthy coming off of his knee injury. That is looking like the season that Brock Bowers is going to have. He's coming off of a great season, tight end 1 overall. He's dealing with this knee injury. And for whatever reason, the team won't just rest him. They won't say, dude, take a week, get healthy. They're continually trotting him out there at less than 100%. And it's detrimental to his performance. It's detrimental to the team's performance. And it's detrimental to your fantasy rosters right now. Darren Waller is going to be more involved in this offense. Is he going to have 2 touchdowns every week? No, he's not. I can say that with the utmost confidence. But he's going to have a role. And I think we're going to see more volume than originally expected. I'm okay playing Waller, especially this week, in a good matchup, while Kyle Pitts is on a bye over Brock Bowers.
Yep. I would go ahead and plug Waller in as well. Josh says Junkins and Waddle for BTJ and Adams.
If I need the running back help, I'm okay making this deal for Judkins. But the way that it words, I feel like you're trading Judkins to get Adams. I guess it really just depends on the state of my wide receiver core. Like in a vacuum, it's the BTJ Adams side for me. But it really boils down to team needs, scoring settings, all that good stuff. I think that's a really solid buy low on BTJ is really the long and short of it. But right now, Adams is the real piece that I want.
Yeah, wide receiver 6. He's got Baltimore, Jacksonville, his bye, New Orleans, San Francisco over the next 4 for Adams. Yeah, I think I want the Adams side for sure. Joseph, start 3. I'm in a bye and injury week hell. Sean Tucker. Oh my goodness, here we go. Speaking Josh's language. Sean Tucker, Chris Rodriguez, Michael Carter, DeMarcado, Marvin Mims, and Zach Ertz. Start 3 of these guys.
So we're starting 3. My top 2 are going to be Mims and Ertz. I'm going to lean DeMarcado. I do love Sean Tucker, and he's going to see a lot more run this week. This is not a good matchup for him. Seattle is the top defense in the NFL, and their defensive line is really freaking good. That's why I'm going to side more with DeMarcado. I think he's going to see more of a role than Michael Carter. And quite honestly, it's a really good matchup for the Cardinals this week against Tennessee and their dreadful defense. With Rodriguez, it's very similar to what you're dealing with if you had rostered JCM or if you roster Jeremy McNichols. All 3 of them are in a pretty even split timeshare. So you just really never, like, he needs a touchdown, plain and simple. And if you can't guarantee a touchdown, then, and again, this is not a good matchup. The Chargers have a good run defense. So I'm going to go the last 3. I'm going to go Ertz, Mims, and DeMarcado.
All right, Josh, it has become that time We got the lightning round going right here. Guys, if we do not give you enough information or you need more information, do not forget, jump into the Discord. The link is in the chat. You can always hit us up there at us if you want us to respond super quick. Josh does respond to a ton of those when you at him specifically. You can at me, you can at Ryan, and we will get to those in there as quickly as we can. Country needs 3 PPR. JJ, AJ, Worthy,
Ibuka. Of these 3, I'm sitting AJ next.
All right, next is, where are we at here? Golly. Did I miss one? No. Oh, yes, I did. Addison or Slayton at the flex?
I'm going to go Slayton this week. I like Addison. I think it's a good matchup. It's an okay matchup, excuse me. JJ is going to command a lot more of the Denzel Ward, but it's hard to pass on Slayton.
All right, start 1, tight end, 2 flex. Chig, Andrews, Sharps, Shakir, or Mims?
Mims, Shakir, and Andrews at tight end.
Tommy Tremble, Fanigan, Njoku, Jawan Johnson.
I'm not sitting Jawan Johnson. My second option would be Tremble, though. It's a good matchup, and Jatavian Sanders is already out.
Please help. Half-point PPR start 2 running backs, Ginty, Junkins, Mason, or White, and then start 1 wide receiver, Sutton or Tet.
Sutton and Judkins as your 2 running backs, and I'm starting McMillan over Sutton.
Maddie says Mason Taylor or Hawk at the flex.
Don't love starting tight ends in the flex, but if I'm choosing between one of these 2, give me Taylor this week. I think Hawk is going to be blocking a lot more than people think.
Marcus says drop Myers for Ridley, Ayo, Washington, or Slayton. He has Wandell.
I mean, I love A. Maynor. I'm going to go A. Maynor. I mean, you have Wandell, so I don't think the need for, Slayton is there.
Brad traded Walker and Marv for Woody and Devontae. Your thoughts? Also, start Woody or Dobbins?
I'll answer the last question first. I'm still going to go Dobbins over Woody.
Mm-hmm.
I love the matchup, though, for Woody Marks. But, again, it's kind of one of those, like, unless I absolutely have terrible matchups and I'm just going to roll with Woody, I want to see him do it again. That's my biggest thing. Like, I know he's slowly starting to kind of take over that RB1 role with Chubb, but Chubb's presence still makes him a little more iffy in terms of that. In terms of the trade, I mean, you get a better wide receiver, you're losing the better running back. So I think it really just kind of depends on what you felt your roster needed more. I probably would have sided with the Walker Marv trade, but again, hard to deny Devontae Adams. The dude is still fucking crushing it even at 32 years old.
I think that's a very, very fair trade. Probably a fair trade and good trade for both sides. Matty Random says he can start all 4, but does he? Or does he start 3 of them instead? Chubb, DeMarcado, Dowdle, Chase Brown.
I'm okay sitting Chase Brown for the top 3. Nick Chubb, DeMarcado, and Dowdle.
Joseph says, for the Jamar Chase and Ferguson, for Sutton and Tet trade, here's my wide receivers and tight ends. Sutton, Tet, Ladd, Addison, Pearsall, and Kirk and his tight ends is strange. I think I can pull the trade and get Golden and Shakir.
Well, I'm going to do that trade because Ferguson is a massive upgrade over Brenton Strange. As I mentioned before, like you make this trade if you're streaming tight ends. Brenton Strange is a streaming tight end. So, yes, I'm doing that.
Absolutely. And Country, you are more than welcome. Come back and see us. Jump up over into the Discord, buddy. VBZ says, do I force Rico over any of these? Hampton, Pickens, Olave, Derrick Henry, Debo Samuel.
No, don't get cute.
Don't get cute. I like it. EVD. Who do I pick up? I have Swift on a bye. Bucky Irvin out. Who do I play from free agency?
Bro, you got to give us more options than that, man. Like, this is a really vague question. Swift on a bye, Bucky Irving. I don't know how deep your league is, how shallow, small, large, whatever. I mean, maybe DeMarcado's out there. Maybe Sean Tucker's out there. Maybe Michael Carter's out there. Maybe Rico Dowdle's out there. Maybe Woody Marks is out there. I don't know. I mean, those off the top of my head would be the top like RBs that are mainly sprinkled throughout most waiver wires. So I would probably start with that group.
Isaiah Davis on your radar this week at all?
I mean, he's on the radar, sure. I mean, losing Braylon Allen, who they've said is likely going to miss 8 to 12 weeks. Isaiah Davis has to be on your radar. But I mean, to me, it just says that Breece Hall is going to see 70% of the snap share. Like Davis is okay, but he's not built like Braylon Allen.
Fair. Alex is 1-3. Wide receivers are really rough with Ladd, Higgins, Wandell, Judy Diggs. Running backs are Bijan, Jacob, Hubbard, and Henderson and JCM. Do I trade Jacobs or Bijan for a wide receiver 1? And who should I target?
I mean, you can. I don't necessarily think that you should. I would probably start with, like, if I could move Hubbard and say Wandell or Hubbard and Diggs, and maybe you could get someone like a Devontae Adams, like that would be the kind of trade that I would look for. Or maybe you could move like Hubbard. Oh, you have Ladd, so I don't, maybe not double up on Chargers with like, targeting a Keenan Allen or somebody like that. But I would probably start with like the 2-for-1s like that. I hate giving up elite running backs, but I get the pickle you're in being 1-3.
Yeah, the 1-3 doesn't mean it's over. 0-4 doesn't mean it's over. You can still come back from that. Isaac says full PPR. He has Kraft on a bye, starting Fannin or stream Mason Taylor, Dalton Kincaid, or any other streamers you prefer. And I'm just going to slam this one in the face. It's Dalton Kincaid.
Yup. That's the answer. That is the only answer.
That's the only answer. Look, I got one right today. Yes. Modisa says half-point PPR start 2. Worthy, Rashad White, Wandale, A.J. Brown, also on the bench 1. Zay Flowers, Pittman, MHJ, or Rashad White.
Okay. It's Waddle, not Wandale.
Where am I seeing Wandale? I have no idea where I'm seeing that. Maybe that's just in my head. All right, so let's start with the first one here. Half-point PPR start 2. Worthy, Rashad White, Waddle, A.J. Brown.
I'm good going Worthy and Waddle this week.
All right, now bench 1. Zay, Pittman.
Rashad White, it's not close.
Ah, dang it. Trying to get you to We almost got there. Different league. Rico, Nico, A.J. Brown, Waddle, J-Mo. Still needs one to sit. Let's go back up to his other one.
It's a different league. So
okay, so it's a different league. Okay, never mind.
I mean, truthfully, if I'm benching one of these guys, I'm probably going to bench J-Mo. Everybody else is at least guaranteed some level of volume, and J-Mo just isn't right now. So, I mean, he's your boom bust piece. So if you feel like you want that in your lineup over, empty targets that you would get with AJ Brown, I would be okay doing that. But that's how I would roll with this scenario.
Good morning, Andrea. Thank you for joining us. Even if you are late, you can always watch the replay. That's absolutely good. Ryan says, fair trade question. 12 team gave A.J. Brown, Charbonnet, Pacheco. He got JSN and Harvey.
I'm perfectly fine with that because, quite frankly, I would be looking to drop Pacheco, truthfully. Charbonnet he's Charbonnet. He's basically in a 50-50 split with Ken Walker. Obviously his value shoots up if Walker plays, but or is out, excuse me. And right now I want JSN over AJ Brown, so I'm okay with that.
Good morning, Marvin. Good morning. Yeah, I'm with you there as well. Andrea says Woody or Dowdle PPR.
Probably going to go Dowdle. I do like Woody Marks' matchup, and I've said this before. Right now, Dowdle has zero competition. And that Miami defense is pretty ass. So I'm okay going Dowdle this week.
I like it. Mo Diesel has 2 here. Stroud or Dart, Strange or Kelsey.
Man, Baltimore's defense leaves a lot to like when it comes to starting Stroud, but
So
I don't
does
know.
New
When
Orleans.
you come out and say that your 24-year-old legs don't feel like your 17-year-old legs, man, that's a fucking problem. Yeah, I'm gonna stream Dart over Stroud. I'm okay with that. Strange or Kelsey, probably Strange.
I don't think there's a probably to that. I think it's strange until Kelsey does anything.
Yeah, I
Kelsey's,
mean that's
remember, you got to remember these two guys are playing against each other. We don't like the Jacksonville offense in the least, but that Jacksonville defense seems to be the real deal right now.
yeah, it is. They've created 3 or more turnovers every single week.
Yeah, it's insane. Gustavo says trade PPR Bijan, I get Bijan for 4, Josh Allen and Nico Collins and Kamara.
Man, that's a lot to get for Bijan. Holy shit.
I think I'm taking the Josh Allen, Nico Kamara side on this.
I think I am too. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're upgrading at 2 positions, right? Like clearly you're upgrading at quarterback. Nico is probably an upgrade over any of the wide receivers you have. Kamara is obviously a big step down from Bijan, and he's not scoring touchdowns, so that's obviously a big struggle. So you're going from like, the RB1 to like a top 24 option at running back. But I would be curious who your other running backs are, but yeah, I think I'm taking this trade in a vacuum.
Yep. Casey, CK says Ertz or Hawk for his bye week.
Oh, it's Ertz. It's not close.
We buy houses near you, 512. Non-PPR start 1 quarterback, Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray. Playing against Josh Allen this week, who scores the most points?
I mean, Daniel Jones has been struggling, quite frankly. I'm gonna. It's at home. Give me Daniel Jones.
And it's Vegas.
Yeah, they're so bad right now.
All right, I got to go scroll back up here, but Ryan says, wait, in mine you said Sutton and Judd for running back. Did you mean Ginty and Judkins
Yeah.
running back? Yes. Answers that question there.
No, I mean those are the 2 running backs that you're starting, Ryan. That's what we said.
Yep. Flex.
And you're flexing T-Mac. But if you Well, I mean, you said you needed to start 2 running backs. That's why we said the 2 running backs. I thought your flex question was for starting one of these wide receivers. So if you're asking me to rank them, it's Genty, Judkins, McMillan, Sutton. That would be how I would rank them.
Absolutely. You are more than welcome, sir. Do I start A.J. Brown over Sutton, Pittman, or Monty?
I would rank them this week: Pittman, Monty, A.J. Brown, Sutton.
I mean,
Monty's going to absolutely ball.
Monty is just going to absolutely destroy Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I just, man, that's so hard.
I don't see how you can sit Pittman.
Brad says, back to my Walker Marv trade. Felt like I needed a more dependable wide receiver than Jetta. And I have Ladd, J-Mo, and my other running backs as my other wide receivers. Somebody dropped Diggs a week ago.
Okay.
And picked him up. Okay.
Trying to find the original question.
Original one is right. Where did it go? Right here. He traded Walker and Marv for Woody and Devontae. I believe was the trade, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha. Okay.
I have CMC, Skattebo, Woody, and Dobbins as my running backs. Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, Josh, anything else you want to talk about today before we get the hell out of here at 1 hour and 10 minutes? What a show.
Yeah, I was looking at Gustavo's question. This was the the trade here, and they come back with their running backs are Genty and Kieran Williams. So I think you can withstand losing Bijan to upgrade at quarterback and wide receiver. So yeah, I think that's a good deal, dude.
Yep. And then Ryan just back in. He says, my bad, I really messed it up. I already started Kyron in a running back. I need a running back, wide receiver, and flex.
Okay.
Didn't consider starting one of those over Judkins as a flex, but wanted to confirm that ranking was helpful.
Keep in mind, Ryan, we also have our site consensus rankings up over on our website. It's clubfantasyffl.com. Right across the top, just click under weekly rankings. Ryan Weiss and Austin Amendolia do our consensus rankings over there. So feel free to check those out and kind of see where they've got these guys ranked at for you.
Absolutely. I want to say thank you to everybody that popped in with us today. Enjoyed these questions. If you have more, please jump over in the Discord. We are always popping off over there. The next show we've got going is Monday morning at 11. Monday's Anxiety is a recap show. I unfortunately will not be there this week. It will just be Josh and Ryan, but God knows it's going to be a hell of a week. For Josh, buddy, what another great week. Welcome to week 5. Welcome to the bye weeks. We hopefully will see all of you in the Discord this week. And Josh, you didn't set the outro video, so I've got to do that, and let's go. Have a great week, everybody.